Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Lucy may or may not be in the full video with us. We'll see if he stays here. So today's practice is going to be on the fourth chakra, Anahata. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail in this video because I've got the separate one where I talk about the chakra in a little bit more depth. And go into like the elements and things like that. So I do encourage you to perhaps watch that video first. So if you haven't, maybe stop and watch it just to have an idea of the intention. Intention of something changes it entirely. So we could do the same posture with, instead of a heart opener, it's a throat opener, or it's working on the second chakra, for example, or maybe what a pose is a hip stretch versus a hamstring stretch. So perhaps take a look at the other video and see what the intention is for this. Short story, short version is we're doing a lot of chest openers. We're working on opening up the heart. If you've done your chakra test that I plugged in at the first chakra, then maybe you have an idea of whether or not, where things stand. And to be very honest, between when you did that test originally, end of February, I think, maybe March, the world's changed. So working on the heart chakra can be big right now. So I also want to give you the opportunity to get some props that you might need throughout this practice. I'm going to be using one or two just bed pillows, and you'll notice I don't have my mat down. I'm just laying on the carpet because I'm going to use my mat as sort of a bolster. If you would like to have a blanket for covering up, then go ahead and grab a blanket. For the most part, I think we're going to be able to do everything that we need with this. You may also use the blanket for jamming in to empty spaces to help support you. So that's a blanket, a comforter, a bunch of pillows too, but maybe towels. So if you need to grab stuff, pause this, go get those. I'm going to go right into our practice. So for the fourth chakra, we're going to be doing a restorative practice. The intention of a restorative practice, whether it's heart chakra based or not, is complete relaxation. This is different from yin. Yin, probably going to hurt. We're looking for a deep stretch, gravity stretches. In restorative, we're getting to, we're really trying to kick into the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so I would like for you to start on your back. We are starting in Shavasana. So take the time that you need to lay down on a mat or not. Get as comfortable as you need to be, laying on your back. If you need to support yourself, putting perhaps, sorry Poos, I'm going to disturb my cat. Perhaps putting your rolled up yoga mat right underneath your thighs, underneath your, like right up to your butt. It's hard to see stuff when there's a cat right in the way. Okay. So, also determine, Moose makes a good point here. If you feel like you can completely relax with your cat sitting right on top of you, then allow your pets in the room. But if you've got family members and other four-leggers who are going to be distracting, then allow yourself this time. It's just going to be an hour. Allow yourself this time to be alone. Okay? Once you get yourself settled, maybe you're ready for it, maybe you still have some movement to do here. Once you get yourself settled, what I'd like you to do is really check in with your body, and this is something we're going to do with every single pose. You're going to be in some of these poses for over 5 minutes, maybe 10 or 20, depending on really how it feels. Once you get your bones settled, then notice what's the very first sensation that you notice. Is it discomfort? Can you get 2 to 3% even more comfortable? Okay? If you notice the pillow behind your head and it's weird, adjust it, because we're going to be here for a bit. Take that time. First of all, please know, please believe this, you deserve to be comfortable. You deserve relaxation. Restorative poses aren't something for special people, rich people, quote unquote hardworking people. You know, whatever you think, if you think that this is luxury, I'm sorry, because you need this more often than I know you're giving it to yourself. Let's take a deep inhale and sigh. Let's take another deep inhale and sigh. Find an effortless breath. If you do happen to have an animal or something resting on you, honestly, I gotta say, like, his little body is kind of a comfort to me. And I kind of like the feeling of him on my belly as I inhale and exhale. His ears are back, but whatever. Also, don't be afraid to have noise in the room. I have intentionally left my window and my balcony door open. You may be hearing the traffic outside of my apartment. You cannot control the world. You can only control your reaction to it. And that's part of this practice. Allow your skull to be heavy. Relax the base of your skull where it meets your neck, the top of your neck. So if that means it drops your jaw, then let your jaw drop. Relax your eye muscles, the muscles around your eyes, the muscles between your eyes, muscles at your temples and ears. Open your mouth wide, move your jaw around, and then let it go. Soften your tongue. Soften your throat and sides of your neck. Notice if you're holding any tension in the tops of your shoulders. Let your arms be heavy, and if you need to wiggle a body part in order to really let it go, then do that. Part of what we're working on is maybe bringing the mind to that body part so that it recognizes, yeah, that's what we're talking about. That needs to relax. Soften your chest. Relax your upper back muscles, soften your belly. Notice if you have any tension in your low back and your hips. If you feel tension, do what you need to do to release that tension if props could help. So again, props underneath your thighs can help. Letting your knees fall open into a cobbler pose. Let your thighs be heavy. Relax muscles around your knees, the undersides of your knees, calf muscles, shins. Relax your ankles, tops of your feet, the soles of your feet. Allow any residual tension to drip out of your toes, your fingers, and to sort of evaporate out through the crown of your head. And every once in a while, check in with different spots on your body. Maybe reevaluate your whole body from top to bottom. Again, to make sure that the back of your skull is relaxed, your jaw, and so forth. And when thoughts come into your mind, because you're human and that's what you do, be gentle with them. I don't recommend pushing thoughts away, but maybe don't allow them to be sticky. Try not to sit there and process anything from your week or your day. That's for some other time. That's for maybe a meditation or a productive moment. You're allowing yourself time to unplug. Bring your awareness to the center of your chest. And know that your heart is just a little bit off to the left. Your left lung is a little bit smaller because the heart's there. See if you can notice your pulse. Your heartbeat. Notice where you feel it close to your heart. And then notice other places in your body. Your neck, throat, mouth, arms, hands, belly. Maybe you can even feel it at the furthest points away from your heart. Start to deepen your breath. Move your fingers, move your toes. Reach your arms above you. Stretch your legs. And when you're ready, maybe you have to move your cat. Start to roll yourself over to one side. And we're going to take our time on the side here. Let your head rest on your arm. Take your time using your hands. Bring yourself back up to a comfortable seated position. We're going to take some time sitting here. I'm going to sit on my yoga mat, on my rolled up mat, just to get my hips a little bit higher for right now. Sitting upright, allowing the blood flow to readjust to being vertical from being horizontal for about 10 minutes. Our next pose is a very subtle back bend. Back bends are chest openers. So that's something to keep in mind anytime you're doing a back bend, is by its nature, it will also be opening up your chest. Kind of has to. So we're going to use the rolled up mat. And I want you to consider that your mat can be a smaller roll depending on the kind of mat you might have. Like if you've got a manduka, it could be a lot thicker roll than this. So if you need to make it smaller, then unroll it. I'm just going to use it as biggest thing just for visual. I may adjust it once I get into it. So we're going to start with the mat just underneath your armpits so that your arms can be, Goose is like, yay, you're laying down again. So that your arms are out to the side just above the top of the mat. So the mat is right underneath the line of your nipples. Okay? And you can adjust it. It doesn't have to be exact, but for the most part, just underneath the armpits, but certainly within the upper rib cage here. Now, depending on how high you have this, that's going to determine what's happening with your head. So the focus of this is the back bend and the chest opening right there. I can already feel what this is doing to my sinuses. Right now it feels comfortable. It may not feel comfortable to you eventually or right in the beginning, so put something underneath your head. You want to make sure, and this is probably a challenge at home, you want to make sure that your chin and your forehead are level. So you don't want to have your chin jutting up because that overstretches and tightens. And you don't want to have your chin high because that overstretches the back of the neck and crushes the throat. So you're trying to find a nice opening in the throat to allow the breath to happen. If you need to here, if you feel tension in your low back, if you've got tightness in your back, you may need to put like a padded blanket, not a padded blanket, just a folded blanket, underneath your pelvis, just to get your hips a little bit higher, to get your sacrum a little bit higher. So do that. Do not accept tension. Do not accept pain. It's not, I don't want to say that it's not normal, but you do not have to allow pain to always be there. It doesn't mean that you're doing it better, faster, stronger, harder. You're allowed to live without pain. Physical pain, emotional pain, all of it. You know, as we learn in Buddhism, you know, yeah, life is suffering. That's what it is. But there is a way out of suffering. That way can be a lot of things. It can be simply using a prop in a restorative pose. So you've been in this pose for a couple of minutes. If you need to readjust, make it better, so that you can just feel that, you know what I mean? Allow yourself to feel that. So for me, there we go, much better. That roll was too high. Let yourself breathe. In this pose, we're lifting the chest in order to give, hopefully, a gentle stretch in the chest. So at the sternum and the joints where the ribs meet the sternum. And then out through there, through your pec muscles, and especially into this pec minor, right up into that sort of soft spot. Well, I hope it's soft. If it's not, that's what we're working on here. Right up before you get into your armpit and shoulder. This subtle work is the kind of thing that lasts longer. The poses where we work on opening the chest, breathing for five breaths. It's good for the moment. But putting yourself in a restorative pose for minutes, it has an impact on your immune system. It has an impact on your DNA. It has an impact on your brain. Because we're not just stretching muscles. We're letting go. And it's your practice. I can't even imagine what you need to let go of. We all need to let go of something. Or else you wouldn't be doing this practice, would you? Got about another minute in this pose. ease yourself out. Roll to the side. Hang out on your side for a few breaths, and we're eventually going to make our way to child's pose. So take all the breaths you need on your side before gently bringing yourself into child's pose. And I would like you to be in a supported child's pose. So use as many blankets or pillows or whatever as you need to bring yourself into your child's pose. Your knees are going to be wide so that you're bringing everything in here. Okay. And in your supported child's pose, in really any child's pose, I'll be honest, I've gotten to a point in my life where I don't like to have my head hanging down. All of the child's poses that I take anymore, I like to have my torso as parallel to the floor as possible. I like to be upright a little bit more. So we're going to stay like this for a couple of minutes. Allow your head to be on both sides sort of equally. So you're just getting a gentle stretch on your neck while you're doing this. Make sure that your arms are positioned in a way that they are not supporting you. And if you need to, if this is tense on your knees, then you can put blankets right up behind your knees. You can even put a rolled up mat or something underneath your hips, right down at your heels. So if you haven't already, turn your head in the other direction. We're going to hang out for another minute or so. So switch sides. Start to bring yourself up. Since we have this set up here, we're going to move into a twist. So let's bring your knees to the left. So we're all going to go in the same direction. Your knees are pointing to the left. And you've got your setup here, just right up next to your right hip. Rotate your torso so that you're, as if you're trying to get your belly and your chest flat to the pillows. Now you're going to look away from your legs for as much of this as possible. We're going to be in this for 5 minutes on for each twist. Try to stay with your head looking away from your legs for most of the time. It's a deep stretch, so if you need to look in the same direction as your legs, do that. Look away from your legs as you can. Position your arms so that they're not supporting you. And if you have big boobs, then you may need to pad and lift around the boobs to lift your head and all of that in order to accommodate the boobs. So you might have to put like a blanket around, making sort of a boob bowl. Just let yourself breathe. The twist is a pose associated with the spine. But when you're working on a twist, especially this one, it is working on drawing open the chest. Your arms are positioned out and down. You're in sort of a cuddle position, kind of like you were in child's pose. But you're doing two things related to the heart. So you're putting your body weight and your heart against your pillows, your props. So you're feeling that comfort in the heart and the belly, vulnerable places. And your back is exposed. Maybe you put a blanket over your back. But frequently, if you think about it, when we hug someone, we're hugging heart to heart, but then your hands are at their back. Your back is an extension of the energy from your heart. So we're allowing for that to be soft. It's not a back stretch. We're not engaging the muscles. You're letting it be soft and vulnerable. You've got about another minute, so turn your head to face the same direction as your legs, just as a counter stretch before we move on to the other side. Start to make your way up out of the pose. We're going to go straight into the other side. The knees point to the right. The blanket or your pillows are right up next to your left hip. Rotate, put your belly on the pillows, put the chest on the pillows, and look away from your legs. Let your body go. Allow your breath to be soft, but notice your breath. Allow the movement of the breath to help with the twist. Let your belly expand and draw in. Let the ribs expand and contract. Allow for time with the breath. And with every exhale, allow yourself to sink a little bit more. This last minute, rotate your head to look in the same direction as your knees. Start to make your way up out of the pose. And if it feels good to be in a neutral pose again, in child's pose, you can stay like that for about a minute or so. To make your way back up out of your child's pose, we're going to use this pillow, and again, I've got a pillow on top of my two pillows on top of my yoga mat, rolled up yoga mat as a setup here. So, I'm trying to figure out the best way of showing you this. Okay, we're going for another back bend. I'm going to sit right up to the edge of this. Lower myself over this. Now, you may need more pillows, or you may need less. It's a pretty intense back bend having two pillows for me, I will admit that. You may need to have a pillow or a lower blanket. If your back bend goes lower, then you may not need anything under your head. It may be too much. So right now I can feel the yoga mat, the roll, is right underneath my belly button. I'm going to actually try to get it right behind my hip bone. So right now my butt actually is not on the floor. That feels better for me. So, but play around. We're looking for anywhere between like your lowest rib and your hip bone for where that yoga mat's going to be. And how this is working for us is we're getting this sort of opening in the belly that is going to, but it's going to lift the belly in order to allow for more chest opening as well. Now, allow your belly to move in this, especially this one, because this is a deeper, it's a little bit more of an intense back bend. We want movement in the belly here because it's going to help just gently move the spine, the lumbar spine, when you're breathing. See if you can take nice, long, deep breaths, a purposeful breath. If at any point the back bend is too intense, you can bend your knees. Release it for a little bit. We will be in this for about 3 more minutes. So you can move yourself deeper into the pose. You can release a little bit. Remember, if you need this to be lower, then lower yourself. Take out a pillow, unroll the mat a little bit more. We have a couple more minutes in this. So if it's becoming too intense, again, feet to the floor, or take something out. The goal is literally to not feel discomfort. So any discomfort you may feel, see if you can ease yourself down, less of a back bend. Now whether or not, well, if you don't have your feet to the floor, bring your feet to the floor. Knees bent. Press your feet into the floor, lift your hips, and scooch all of your stuff so that everything is directly underneath your sacrum. So that when you rest, you're in pretty much a supported, this is a little bit of a bridge, but little bridge pose. Just going to work on releasing the low back muscles. And as it feels good to you, bring one knee into the low back and then the other. And allow your belly to sink into your back. One foot back down to the floor and then the other. See if you can remove your stuff out from underneath you. See how slick you can be at that. Bring your knees into your chest. We're going to release the back bends before our final pose. Rock and roll. Yeah, right on the edge of that rib. Bring yourself up and let's come into a forward fold. Use as much stuff as you need to stack up here. See if you can allow your feet to relax. And if you need to, support your head. In a forward fold, I like to have the pillow or whatever it is underneath my forehead so my face is pointing down. It actually releases my neck muscles a lot more. Start to make your way back up. Take your stuff off. We're going to move ourselves into a reclining cobbler pose for Shavasana. So you have a couple different ways of doing this to sort of mimic what we've done in class. If you've got two pillows, one folds, the other lays on top of it, laying back, and then I'm going to have my yoga mat support my thighs. Bingo. So, give you a minute or so to fuss around with that. Again, fill in spaces. So if your knees don't go wide enough for the mat to support it, then jam blankets and more pillows. You know, get whatever you need to support yourself. If you want to have your arms resting a little bit higher, then get some pillows to put your arms a little bit higher. You guys have almost all of you have done the pose before, I hope. So get yourself as comfortable as possible. Take some time, and then we will go through sort of a guided meditation. Okay. If you need to take a little bit more time to get yourself situated, go ahead and pause this, fuss around. Do what you need to do in order to be, as I've said, 2 to 3% more comfortable. If you feel tightness, if you feel like you're engaging anything in your low back, then put more pillowing, more support underneath your low back. You may need to have a blanket underneath your butt. Prop up your head. Get a blanket to cover you. This is also a really great way to sleep. Maybe not so much the seasons that we're going into now, but in the wintertime, if you're feeling congested, this is a really great, great way to be supported. Let your body go, let your bones be heavy. Deep inhale and sigh. Another deep inhale and sigh. Find an effortless, soft breath. Do a little check around your body to see if anything can be released. See if there's tension you can let go of. And some of it may be allowing yourself to let go. Even, 40 minutes, some minutes after the start of a restorative class, even through all that we've done of trying to let yourself go, there may be still something that is holding on. And maybe you're not ready to let go. There's a reason why we hold things. When you're working on the 4th chakra, Anahata, it's the center of the chakras, the 7 main chakras. Sometimes I feel like it's the support of them all, even though it's in the center. Even though I know that the foundation is Muladhara. But for many of us, the heart guides our decisions, our thoughts, everything. So we're allowing both a physical and an emotional opening, space. I don't want to say release, who knows? But when you have a lot going on in your heart, you can feel those muscles tensing, right? Or perhaps there's not, perhaps there's already an opening, and you're just sort of letting it soften and simmer in your body. Newly started relationships, newfound things that are wonderful and beautiful. They fill you up. So let's make space for that. New things can be scary and exciting. Sad things can be both as well. By allowing yourself to be in restorative poses, you're allowing all of those feelings and emotions, sensations to happen if they want to. You're allowing yourself the time and the space to do it. Perhaps you feel like a mess. And that's okay. Perhaps you feel like you've been doing it pretty damn well. And that's good too. And perhaps you need to be gentle with yourself and say, you know what? I am doing this really the best that I can. And that's good. Move your fingers and toes, stretch your body. And if you need to, bring your knees into your chest, and you can either come directly up to seated if that feels good to you, or if you feel like you need to be on your side for a few breaths, then go ahead and do that. Take your time with this transition pose before coming back up to an easy seated position. There's no rush. And either come into an easy cross-legged or kneeling position. Let's practice a little metta to end our heart chakra practice. So we're going to do a little compassion meditation. Bring to mind someone you love and think to them, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free from suffering and its causes. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free from suffering and its causes. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free from suffering and its causes. And then release the image of that person and bring to mind, I don't know, just sort of a random person. Maybe somebody that you saw today. And think to them. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from suffering and its causes. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from suffering and its causes. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from suffering and its causes. And release that person or those people from your mind and say to yourself, may I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be free from suffering and its causes. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be free from suffering and its causes. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be free from suffering and its causes. Namaste. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And do stay happy. Do stay healthy. And I do hope that, when we say, may we be free from suffering and its causes, you're allowed to not suffer. You know what I said in the beginning. So recognize that if you feel that there is pain or suffering in your life, there's an appropriate time for grieving and for accepting those things and letting them be for a moment. but then there's a time for getting out of it, right? And ask for help if you need to. You know, we're still in this isolation, shutdown, pandemic thing going on. And everybody's feeling it in different ways. So if you need something, number one, recognize that you deserve to get what you need. We're learning a lot about what is needed, you know, versus the things that we want. If there's something you need, ask for it. And don't be afraid to ask for something from someone that you think could help, but you're like, oh no, I'm sure they're suffering too. Because here's the thing, what we continue to know and practice in compassion meditation is you gain by practicing compassion with somebody else, okay? So they may have stuff going on. Them helping you will help them too. And if they don't have time, then they'll tell you that, okay? But also remember that part of being a friend, like, I want to help my friends. And it makes me sad and sort of upset when they don't ask for help. I'm not psychic. And it makes me heartbroken to find out after the fact that they never asked for help. So, and you'd be upset too if your friend didn't ask for help. So reach out if you need it, okay? I will see you next time.